New nurse practitioner students. This topic has been on high demand recently. It's cropped up a couple times. I think I might have talked about it a couple times in my Instagram stories. I thought I would formulate a formal video on some tips for the new nurse practitioner student. Entering nurse practitioner school is a little different than entering nursing school because you're taking it to the next level, taking it up a notch. These tips are for any new nurse practitioner student in any program. Doesn't matter if it's master's, doctorate, acute care, FNP, dual certification, psych, neonatal, I don't care. All of these tips are generalized enough that I think any nurse practitioner student could benefit from them. Number one, the most important one out of all of this is something that you should be thinking about the minute you click that application button, the minute you send in your application. Hopefully you've thought about it. Hopefully somebody has said something to you. What are you doing about your clinical rotations? Where are they happening? Where are your preceptors? How are you doing that? Who is taking care of those plans? Unfortunately, in this day and age, with the rapidly evolving landscape of nurse practitioner programs, the online programs, the traditional brick and mortar, and then you have the combination cohorts where you do both online and in the formal classroom. A lot of these schools do not help you with scheduling and creating relationships for your clinicals, which are going to be a requirement in order to graduate and take your boards. So you need to have a plan in place. You should be reaching out to people now. I don't care if you're literally haven't even started classes. You need to figure out where you're going to be doing your clinical rotations. In most cases, you're talking thousands of hours of work. So it's going to happen over several years, over several semesters. You may or may not be able to use the same preceptor each time. Maybe you're on an online program, and the program that is, so you could be in the East Coast, in my area of the world. You could enroll into an online program that is on the West Coast, and now you who reside on the East Coast have to figure out where you're going to do your clinical sites. I don't think you can rely on that school that's in the West Coast. So you yourself are going to have to plan, schedule, and reach out to every single person involved in clinical rotations. It's overwhelming and scary. And there are students out there that have delayed graduation dates or haven't been able to continue in their scholastic journey because they can't find preceptors, because they can't find clinical sites. So the harsh reality is you need to plan for that now. Number two, what's your study plan? How are you going to study? It sounds rudimentary and it sounds oh so obvious, but how are you actually going to study? How did you study in nursing school? And how are you going to do that in nurse practitioner school? Because most individuals who go from nursing school and then go to nurse practitioner school, there's years that usually transpire and life changes. Maybe you buy a house. Maybe you got married. Maybe you moved. Maybe you're going to be going somewhere that you know nobody. Are you someone that studies well on your own, or do you study well in a group? Do you study better in your home, or in an area like a library, or in your local Starbucks, whatever coffee shop or little cafe that you like to go hacking their free Wi-Fi? Do you need to study with music, without music? And then, what is your best method for studying? These are things that you need to think about, because it's going to matter when you start NP school. Because it's not going to be like nursing school, where maybe there were elements that you didn't actually have to apply and study, that things just came naturally to you, or it was easier. That ain't happening in NP school. You need to create a study plan. And if you don't have one, you need to start looking online and start reaching out to your resources as to what a good study plan is. Don't wait until after the first exam to figure out what your study plan is. It'll be too late. Number 3, kind of life schedule are you going to have? What is your work schedule going to be compared to your school schedule? Are you working at all? Are you working full-time, part-time, per diem? Will you be traveling for work? Are you looking for a new job? Are you maintaining the same job throughout your entire NP school journey? A lot of people will scale back on how much they work. Not only needing to schedule life in school, but life out of school. Because quite honestly, life out of school is going to be kind of non-existent. What I mean more specifically is, how are you studying every day? I said every day. How are you studying every day? Are you studying in the morning, afternoon, evening, before class, after dinner, after work? You need to schedule it like you schedule your freaking job. You need to schedule study time every single day, because if you don't, you will get behind. Number 4, this is self-evaluation. You need to be self-aware of what you're good at, what you have problems with, and what you suck at. What areas of study do you struggle in? What parts of nursing school or practicing out there in the real world, what parts of your job did you suck at? What parts of your job did you just not get, that you struggle with? You need to be self-aware and have the maturity to say, you may need help with this particular area. You need to have the self-awareness to realize what your weaknesses are. And you need to focus on them. Don't worry about your strengths. Your strengths are going to be an asset. What are your weaknesses? What were you bad at in nursing school when it came to being a student? Everything from what I mentioned earlier with scheduling study time to project management. How good are you? How much of a procrastinator are you really? Be honest. Number 5, last but not least, and probably just as important as number 1, is how well do you do with research? How well are your research skills? How comfortable are you with evidence-based practice, evidence-based medicine, and evidence-based nursing? Can you critique a journal article effectively? How well are you good at the nomenclature when it comes to research? Because I'm going to say at least a quarter, if not half, of your NP program is going to be working in research in some way, shape, or form. Whether you're using it formally or informally, you're going to be using evidence-based practice more than you ever have before in your career. Brush up on any of the research skills that you have from your previous degree, previous experience. How comfortable are you with evidence-based practice? Because it is ultimately going to make or break you later in your NP journey.